Chris, just get down. You do need to present.
Five.
You guys can move. Yeah.
5, 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It's Lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 282 is titled Conspiracy Theories. We're going to play an amazing game that reveals what each of us do and do not believe about controversial topics. That's what we're doing at the table this evening, so pull up a seat and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later on YouTube at Lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, you can take our relational needs questionnaire. Yes, you. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it would be great if you gave us a 5-star review. That really does help. Jay, what specifically is this podcast about?
At the table, we strive to love one another and help you to do the same. Some weeks we'll have someone join us so that you can get to know them and learn a little bit about yourself in the process. Other weeks, like this one, we dive into a topic or play a silly game that may or may not reveal some emotional needs. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. That is what we do. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're playing it like it is. Lunchtime in Rome.
Let's go.
With Rachel.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, friends. Yay.
I have a fun update. So if you've been listening, you know that Maggie's gotten into softball. She had her first game yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
Good day for it. Nice
Day
weather.
for it. Yeah. Although it gets
day.
cold in the valley where
Yep.
the park is.
Where do they play?
Penn Hills Park.
Cute.
So it's like, but down in there, especially when the sun
cold.
goes down, it gets cold.
Joey.
But she played so well.
Aw.
She hit the very first pitch that was thrown at her. So the
Aw,
very
what a
first pitch in the
babe.
very first game,
Thing
she
is, she was playing first base.
she
was
made
awkward.
she made contact. Wasn't anything to write home about, but
That is, though.
that is, and she got on base with that hit. So that was very
Is
exciting.
it coach pitch?
Yes, coach pitch. Yeah, it's not T-ball or it's not tees. It's not on tees. They're throwing, and it's like fast pitch. They're not like really lobbing it, but it's not like they're pitching as hard as they can. Obviously, they're 6, or she's 6. And then she scored a run. So she got a hit, scored a run, and then later on in the game she got another hit, and it was ended up being an RBI.
Aw.
So I was just they ended up losing. I won't go into all that because I'm still trying to learn all the rules of, I think it's 8U softball. But it was very fun. Tried to encourage her, even though they lost, because I know that's going to be a big life lesson
Sure.
for her, especially when it's like it wasn't like her fault. It's like,
Or when it's
working with
expressly
the
somebody
team.
else's fault.
Yeah, right. But I think the coaches are awesome. They do such a good job. Shout out to Coach John and
Johnny!
and the team. They're just great, and they're so encouraging. And she, like, whenever the coaches talk to her, she is like focused more than I've ever seen her focused on. So like she is into it. She wants to know what they have to say. She's listening. She's so into it. So it's very, very fun.
I had to stop by, I think it was a week ago Sunday. Oh yeah, when I was looking at records, and she was out playing Frisbee with Amy's dad in the front yard, and she's like, Chris, when I arrived, but it wasn't just to say hi, she's like pointing at what she's wearing, and it's her softball uniform.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that is awesome. Do you have a game today? No. I just wanted to wear it. So she's just out in the yard playing, but excited to get in the uniform.
Yeah. It's super
Cute.
fun. Yep.
Rachel, what have you been up to?
Wait.
Oh.
Never
Got
mind.
One more. Our floors and painting are finished.
Yay.
It's amazing. I put the living room back tonight. I'm just so happy that we can walk into a room and use it as it's intended
Yes.
to. Which that's a good feeling. Hunter's supposed to put the door in, but it's supposed to come in next Wednesday. So
Oh, you're getting a new front door?
yeah.
Okay.
which I'm really excited about.
What are you
'cause,
doing with the
man,
old front door?
Ask Amy.
Okay.
I don't think anything, but if you want it for something, I'm sure
I
she'd be
don't,
glad.
but I think somebody else would.
Sure.
Even Hunter. If
I
you were to
mean,
keep
yeah,
it or
if
something.
he wants it and Amy doesn't want it, I don't care. I mean, we'll probably put it on Facebook if somebody wants to haul it away.
Construction Junction.
Construction, yeah, but then we'd have to take it down there.
I know, but I love that place.
Well, you could take it down for us and you can go shop around. But yeah, great job. It looks fantastic.
Well worth it.
Huntsman Projects, if you need any work done in the local Pittsburgh area.
Coupon code lunchtime in Rome.
Well, they
Just go to
yeah.
huntsmanprojects.com/lunchtime in Rome.
He'll charge you
I
what he
don't
charges
think that
you.
exists.
No, it does not. You don't believe in that?
I do not believe in that
All right,
because it's not real.
Ah, yes.
those are my updates.
You were going to say something about Rachel.
Oh, I said, Rachel, what's up with you? But she didn't take that cue, and then Eric gave his second update. So anybody else want to update? What's going on?
I'm on spring break.
Nice. Yeah.
Yay.
I was wondering why you were around last night.
Yeah. We
how
get the
long?
the week.
Yeah.
Like we had Good Friday off and then this whole week.
This whole
Second
week.
longest break
Yeah.
of the year for them.
Wow.
It's a transportation thing because we have kids that live there in the dorm and my school transports them to a meeting place like in the middle of the state, so they're not going to do that several times a week.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And they can be as young as 4.
Yeah, that's wild. I can't imagine sending.
Well, but
my
also the
kid
ones
halfway
who, I
across the
mean,
state.
like right now, what's your furthest away daily student?
We have a 2-hour radius around the school, so they
Whoa.
can a bus from their school district will pick them up and
from
drive them.
their school district. Holy smokes!
2
Yeah.
hours.
Yep.
Pretty easy. Pretty sweet gig if you're the driver, though.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
mean,
lot
there's
of
there's
driving.
a couple jokes here. They're probably pretty quiet.
Nope.
No?
No.
Well,
you
yeah, I guess not.
ignoramus.
Yeah,
It's not that they don't make noise.
they can't hear.
It's
Yeah.
that they can't
That's true.
hear.
That's true.
People are always surprised when they come visit
Yeah.
how loud our
it's
school
loud.
is.
Yeah.
It's
You
loud.
have spellers at your school, though, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're referring to we have some
Yeah,
kids
you
that
wanna
use
explain
an iPad that has a program on it that is speech, and depending on their level, like for our little ones, it's just you might have a screen with 4 pictures on it with the word and a picture that symbolizes that, like yes, no, please, thank you.
It helps them communicate the thoughts that are in there,
Right.
but that they can't communicate because physically they may not be able to.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have some kids right now that are like, boop, 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 boop,
Has
boop.
anybody surprised you? Like these spellers, have they surprised you with things that kind of come out of left field?
Yes.
Can you elaborate?
Well, years ago, we had a kiddo who used this program, and if he could tell the teacher was getting irritated, he would type, "You need a glass of wine."
How old? How old was this kid?
4.
That's fantastic.
Did you share that with his mother?
Oh, she knew. Yeah.
No.
She taught him.
That's how, no. So, yes, it's very fun. And it makes them feel empowered and gives them confidence to be able to beep, boop, beep, boop.
Right.
And it talks for them, so you can give it a different accent or a different,
Oh, that's fun.
yeah. So,
I mean, because
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Had some fun with that.
but we can also make them specific to like our classroom. So the kiddos in my class that have one, they can see all of the staff pictures and names. And so Rachel, 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 Rachel,
my gosh.
Rachel, like 100 times. And then we're like, oh,
They got to program a little bit of time in between.
Little
How
delay.
many times you can hit that?
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, no. And how quickly they can figure out if they just touch the sentence at the top of the screen, it'll just repeat over and over again. Like,
like a
You
we
gotta,
have a pull
you
deck?
gotta
We
set
have a
some
pull deck? We have a
feedback
pull deck?
Yeah.
on this program.
yeah.
or the like your one kid who says your name all day.
Oh, yes, he does. All day,
And
every
then
day.
tell the story of your coworker that has a cochlear or at least the hearing aids.
Oh,
The coworker has the hearing aids.
so a staff person that I work with has cochlear implants but never wears them. So without the cochlear implants, hears nothing. But one day driving to work, they wanted to listen to music, so they put on their implants and left them on during the school day. And when we got to nap time,
This is horrible.
she had taken them off, and she said to me, "Do you know so-and-so makes noise all day long?" And I was like, yes, I do. I would take my cochlears off too. Like,
And
yes,
they, like
it's very
literally, he'll
loud.
say your name how many times in a day?
Oh, 100.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I thought it was.
I mean, it's a lot.
Suck it up. And how long would I last as an aide in your school?
0 seconds.
There you go.
Yeah.
Especially dinner or lunchtime.
Yeah.
Loud eaters.
Not lunchtime.
Loud eaters.
A lot of ASMR
A
going
lot of
on.
mouth noises.
Yeah. No, you're special. You're a special person.
No, it's even that. Stop it.
Yeah. Anything else? What's going on?
We're going to a wedding
We are.
this weekend. Big family wedding, so that'll be fun.
A lot of driving.
Whole lot of driving. No, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like my sister Marcy is renting her first Airbnb ever.
Okay.
So I've had to walk her through every step of the way, and it's only like 10 minutes from ours.
Is this the whole Wyatt Carter side of the thing? Is there
It
anything
is
going-
Wyatt Carter's side of the family.
You don't say.
It's
Wyatt Carter's uncle.
his other uncle. I'm his uncle too, you know. But W.C. Juicewitz, same kid.
WC.
But
You're his great uncle, just to clarify.
either way, but it's also same birthday.
True.
So, as it is, we're saying, well, where are we all going to land Friday night to hang out? Marcy's or our Airbnb? And then Marcy's like, oh, wait, we can't do that. I found out you get a rating as a renter, and there's no parties. I'm not
I told her
sacrificing
that.
my rating for you people. So, I, of course, emailed the guy today and said, hey, I'm the youngest in my family. I'm 54. My 58, 64, 65, and 61-year-old siblings want to bring their spouses by Friday evening. If you consider that to be a party, we won't do it. But if it's a family get-together, then we will.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because that's fine. I said, well, I'll tell my retired Army general brother-in-law to keep it down. But no, I'm excited about that, and spring and good weather finally, and disc golf. We're actually going to go up tomorrow to get Bella to take the drive over, and wouldn't you know, we're just going to have to swing by Moraine and play a little disc golf tomorrow.
Rain.
Rachel gets to play bumper disc golf.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Hit a rock.
Yeah.
And a tree.
So no, we're all good. Baseball game yesterday was great. It's a lot of fun. I like the people that I work with at the table. That's fun. There's a unique thing, and we played Penn Trafford yesterday, and I would say half of their team were wearing obnoxiously shiny necklaces. Very tacky. That's all. It's very bothersome.
I never got there seems to be like a fad for baseball players that they have like these big braided necklaces.
Yeah.
Like ropes.
What is that? Yeah, what is that?
Well, but that's one thing. These were far.
But I want to know what that is though. Like why? I think you're dumb.
One kid on their team, I was like, next
Sorry.
up, number 13, Max Feldman. And then I would take off the mic and I would go, hello, Feldman. Which it isn't Feldman.
Right.
It's Newman. But then the lady next to me who does the scorebook, she goes, but there was a Feldman on Seinfeld. And I
Yeah.
said, yes, that was Bizarro Kramer.
Yes.
And we put it all together. We had a good time.
Wow.
So that's my story. And I'm sticking to it.
Are you? Good.
I have a Holy Week update. That's my it's like, man, I love the time leading up to Easter, and we had a phenomenal, quiet Good Friday service that Jay put together. Just a solemn sort of prayer time with different. I just want to commend you on that first of all, Jay. That you just, it was really nice to
Did
put
people come to
together.
that? Because I was thinking about it when I was playing hockey.
People? Yes.
What number is people to you?
More than 5.
Yes.
Okay, people were there. Yeah.
Okay. Less than 10. Doesn't matter.
More than 10.
People that were there.
It was either 13
There were
or-
like 3 peoples there.
It was either 13 or 15. But like I've
tell.
said is,
Never
if we
know.
pride ourselves in not being an overly liturgical church, I can't be upset when people
Right.
don't come to liturgical
Sure.
services.
Right.
But I've always enjoyed Good Friday services, and they're just
Why is that?
so meaningful to me. I like. Well, I mean, it's that moment of lowest of the low, right, for Jesus before it all turns around and comes the other way. So I don't know. There's the vulnerability of that moment, the sort of suspenseful, like you're waiting, and there's this sad stuff that's happening. You know what's coming, but it's like when you are just in that moment. I don't know. There's something
Yeah.
very. It just catches me. I don't know. So that was awesome, and worship on Sunday on Easter morning was amazing. And then less church related, Eric and Amy and Mags came over on Saturday to dye Easter eggs, which has been our little
It's like a new little tradition, two-year
tradition,
Yeah.
right? And Ben and Claudia were home, and it was just a really, that was as like into the church stuff as I get. Like that was a really nice, what turned into several hours of just like,
Well, that was what made it great.
yeah,
Right.
That it was just like we're here
Yeah.
and we're just slowed down and like. It was really nice to
We listened
just
to some vinyl.
we definitely listened to some vinyl.
Well, it just kind of
Did you guys
organic.
smoke any doobs?
No, we did have some
Doobie
bourbon. We
Brothers.
did have some bourbon though, but it just organically like went into, hey, you guys want to order a pizza?
Yeah.
We're like, yeah,
Yeah,
let's
one
hang
of
out.
those days, you know.
It was just nice.
And I think Mags enjoyed it, hanging out with the big kids and
Oh yeah, she
and
always likes that attention.
dyeing eggs and all the fun things there. So it was a really good, relaxing time.
Cute.
Good deal. I took off most of Friday as much as I could, and it was great. And Saturday and Sunday were also, I felt like I was able to decompress just a bit. It actually felt like vacation for me over this past weekend
What you need.
in a weird way. But do I? Like, I don't know.
I think it's
that's
a
a
pressure-
weird place that I'm in because like I'm like I don't really need vacation, but
Right.
it was nice.
It's a little pressure. It's like a pressure
It was-
valve.
it was
a
nice. Yeah,
it
it was
wasn't
very nice.
It wasn't deflating. It was just a little. Give you a little something.
Yeah, but I had a big week last week. I had a big week this week.
You've had a lot of big weeks.
I feel like I think that I'm right on the cusp of a lot of different growth, and so it's an exciting place to be. And I had a good meeting today with Tyler Mountain Water.
Oh yeah.
So
Wait, did you used to deliver water?
once or twice, yes, for several.
I thought just Eric did.
7 years. Yeah, Eric's the veteran. He's
taught you.
He earned his stripes. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Abby is all over the place right now between youth. This girl, we had the dilemma today. Lex and I had this dilemma today where Abby was supposed to have a doubleheader in softball today for the junior high.
Finally had good weather for it.
Yeah, because they've been getting rained out. Like,
Yeah.
so she had a doubleheader, but then she texted in the middle of the day and was like, "Hey, my head's really hurting."
Oh,
Oh man.
Because she's also getting the migraines. It kind of is coinciding with some of the
Yep.
adolescent things that are happening for her.
Babe.
But then she was like, "But I want to. Is it okay if I don't want to miss these games? I do not want to miss these games, but I don't feel well. Can I come home after school instead of going to the games? Can I come home, lay down? But because I really do want to go to youth group tonight too. And if I had my double headers, I would miss those. So Lex and I were like, okay, is she doing the headache thing because she wants to get out of softball and go to youth group? And I don't think so. That's not her character.
Right.
But I was like, look at this dilemma we have. We're wondering if our daughter is lying to us about missing softball so that she can go to youth group.
not
Right.
a bad problem.
Not a bad problem to have.
yeah.
And
Depending on, I mean, there's been some youth groups you'd want to stay
well,
away from,
yeah,
right? Not
yeah, absolutely. And then Ethan's like, we're talking about graduation and getting all that stuff in order, and
Oh yeah.
so that's coming up pretty quick. And
You gonna do a party?
yeah, it's gonna be July. Yeah, we're gonna wait till July to do it up at Faith
Three Rivers?
River Stadium.
Yeah, I'm 90.
So, and generally things are good. I do want to lift up our friend Brad. He had a very unfortunate thing happen.
Yeah, I
to
saw
him.
that on Facebook.
Yeah, somebody stole his
Yeah.
guitar, his baby, out of his
What?
car. Somebody stole his guitar in front of his house.
Oh,
Somebody
no.
stole his guitar, and so he was pretty broken up about that at rehearsal last night. Thoughts and prayers for Brad and his guitar.
Now, is that something you'd have a serial number on?
He did have a serial number on.
Okay,
He's
because I
already
saw him
been-
post it and saying if somebody sees it for sale.
Yeah, he's already touched base with the pawn shops and the secondhand stores and guitar stores and stuff like that around here.
Olive Joe walks in next week with big turn and Olive Joe.
found. Yeah,
But he didn't steal it.
he didn't steal it. It
He
just ended up
found
in his
it.
hands.
He found it.
somehow.
He got it back because he's an angel.
That sounds like a conspiracy.
It
What?
does. And before we get to, I'll tell you, it's not a conspiracy.
People that sit at the table.
That's right. Laurie Ann, Bethany Jaworski, Mary Lynn, Ashley, Breaking 90, who Eric and I heard from
Yes,
this week.
my
And he said
man.
he's been at the table every week, but he was fasting from at least social media.
Yeah.
And so that's why he wasn't communicating. And man, all the credit to him and Groot from the Hooked on Jesus podcast. They sit at the head of the table each and every week. They're the reason why this podcast keeps moving forward, because they have gone to lunchtimeinrome.com and clicked on becoming a paid subscriber. It is not an exclusive group. You too can do that, and we would be honored if you did. It's been a minute since we had a new one.
Yep.
So we are presently accepting new people at the head of the table. And no, that's not a conspiracy. That's
not.
true.
That is true.
So this week we are playing a fun game called Yes or No. And the way this works, and there are variations of this game, and we have played this game, Rachel and I, at least twice, and I was blown away both times. I played it with our immediate family, and it was so entertaining, so engaging, so revealing, and it is based on conspiracy theories. And so the way the game works is we will take turns introducing a conspiracy theory. Now there's two ways. So then I will introduce the first one, and I will say yes or no. I believe it or I don't.
You yourself will say it about your own conspiracy
Correct.
that you're introducing. Okay.
And then Brian, you just say, yeah, I believe it, or no, I don't.
No, it has to be yes or no.
Right.
No extra words.
Well,
Sure.
but
That's fine.
there are two versions to this game. We go around yes or no, yes or no, yes or no.
I'm probably going to say yes to everyone. Just letting you know.
However, there is a variation of the game that we have played, so I don't know why you just came so strong in that moment. Brian can say, yeah, 100%. You're allowed to give a percent with it. Eric can go, yeah, but 52.
Right.
So one is just yes or no. You're on either side of 50%.
Yeah.
The other is you can give a percentage. And then at the end, you can talk about it a little bit.
You give a percentage.
So like,
I believe this.
I believe this
70
with all my heart and soul,
70%.
100%. Or a little more than I don't, 52.
Are we picking one of those?
What do you mean? Oh, which version are we
Yeah.
playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can try a round of each one.
Yeah, maybe that's the way.
I like the percentages.
I like the opposite
Oh.
because
You wanna
I thought you were
explain
going to be
yourself?
Mr. 52, 48%.
you would
guy.
think, except that I like games, and I feel like the spirit of the game is
Gotta
if
show
you
a
are
card.
forced, like think about the
Yeah.
right, like if you're forced to pick one, you gotta pick one, and then like we can discuss like
So we'll
well,
do rounds. So first
Yeah.
round, we'll do yes or no. And the
right.
second one, we'll do percentages. And by
right.
rounds, I mean each of us will come up with a
Because I mean,
conspiracy.
like, because I have one specific one in my head, and I'm like, I'm kind of 50-50, but I would lean towards yes.
So let's start. I'll begin, and I'll make it easy for everybody. Okay?
Wait,
Yeah.
don't take mine.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. One.
What doesn't Rachel go for? Can Rachel go
No.
for? No.
My point is,
Apparently not.
I don't know a lot.
Yeah,
So if you say something,
that's gonna come out as
Can
we
one
go.
of the answers be never heard of it or I don't know?
You
Like,
could be asked to be filled in.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like when we
I like
played
that.
this
I like that.
the first time,
Okay.
my poor sister Marcy, my poor sister Marcy ruined her algorithm.
Ruined?
Asking Google what these things were, and we were like, "No, stop! You're going to get all this weird stuff." So for the first one, Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Oh, we're going yes or no? Yes, he did not kill himself.
Yes, he did not kill himself. 1,000%.
No, we're not doing percents.
Yes, he did not kill himself.
See?
Yes.
100,000,000%.
Yes. I'm waiting for
yes.
us to not be live on YouTube at some point.
right?
Oh.
You said a bad word.
Oh, because of
The
Because of all
algorithm.
these
Yeah.
topics, yeah.
oh no, the
Oh,
topic's
yeah,
not
we're
because
gonna-
I said
We're gonna ping.
Kill him.
This might be our first foray.
Maybe we need to
okay.
off his person.
I'm going to go with yes.
So you're saying yes, he was unalived.
Correct.
How's that for talk?
Wow, unanimous.
Yeah, so it was easy. Brian's turn.
Pandas are not real.
Oh, wait, are they not real? Just that. Okay, never mind.
Wait, do we have to say yes or no before any explanation if we're not sure what the heck he's talking about?
Do you
Yeah,
want me
I
to
don't
explain
know
it?
this.
Well, because there's a difference between are they not real or are they espionage units from a foreign government?
All right. Should I do another one?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
do that
no,
one.
do that one. Give it a
Well-
little background.
All right. So there's this theory that pandas come from China, right? And China's the oldest culture in the world, thousands and thousands of years consecutively. You don't see pandas in any Chinese literature or artwork. You see no mention of pandas up until the 1800s.
I didn't know that. I didn't
And-
know that part of it.
Pandas are one of the worst. Like, they should not exist. They mate once a year.
Insert joke
The
here.
woman is fertile. The female pandas are fertile for I think it's like 48 hours a year. The babies, they look like little gummy bears,
Aw.
and they have to There's no way these things should survive.
Wouldn't that be
they
a miracle
pee upside
then?
down? Like the pandas pee up. Pandas have to pee upside down. They're just a
So do
very
I do
weird.
I do
animal.
every morning.
Yeah, right.
So, but the fact that they never appeared until the 1800s.
So not so that's
there's a
different.
lot more to it, but it's
Right.
yeah.
Or that they've loaned them to the United States for zoos.
Some people believe that they're only in zoos, and some people believe that there's animatronic. They're only animatronics.
And there's something also with Panda Expresses that open up in towns that get pandas in their
Oh.
zoos, and it's sort of they're the handlers for the panda spies.
Okay, yeah. So this goes. So are pandas real or not?
So
What's your answer?
And this round, we just yes or no.
Yep.
My answer is yes. Pandas are real.
okay, yes, pandas are real. Yeah, I
Yes.
believe pandas are real.
Can I still ask a clarification for the yes or no?
Yeah.
So if you're
It's a
saying
conversational game.
you're right. So if you're saying yes, or if I'm saying yes, what are you meaning by real?
Are they an organically occurring
Okay,
animal
okay.
in nature, or there's a lot of anomalies around pandas? It
Right.
seems, but are they a normally occurring?
Okay.
and there
yes.
was like a year or two ago with the pandas. They looked like they were like panda suits and not real pandas. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
the internet is wild.
So it was so crazy.
Yes.
Pandas are real, occurring in nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say yes, and I will introduce a brief discussion point. But I do believe they could be genetically of a genetic origin and or test tube bastardization.
I do think that there's very strange things about pandas.
Because you've never seen a panda just be normal.
Well, there's so many facts of they shouldn't exist. The way
Well, and the fact that you brought up that they're not mentioned like until the 1800s, like
That is
I
a
wanna-
weird
There's not
thing.
a lot of
If
Chinese
that's-
history, though.
no, there's only 5,000 years of consecutive existence.
I want to
believe.
read more into that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's weird. If that is actually true, that there's like no mention, that's bizarro.
What's Groot saying?
I can't see it.
My most recent episode reached 100.
Oh, he's sharing some joy.
Oh yeah,
More people are getting hooked on Jesus.
that's
podcast.
awesome. That's awesome, Groot. Thanks for sharing,
Yay,
buddy.
Groot. That's not a conspiracy. That's true.
That is
Yeah.
true.
What about you, Eric?
I'm going a specific one because this one has many layers to it, but I'm going 9/11,
Oh boy.
specifically Building 7.
What about it?
That it was imploded on purpose for whatever reason, no idea why, and it wasn't a result of like the other buildings falling down next to it. It was imploded.
To clarify, Building
Yeah.
7 was the third building.
The third building, much lower than the other two,
Not
the two
particularly
towers,
close to the other ones, per se.
and it falls completely.
It looks like a controlled
it
demolition.
looks like a controlled demolition.
You're not mentioning
Exactly.
anything about the driver's license or IDs of the terrorists.
That could be a
burned
whole
up.
that could be a
You're
whole
not mentioning
different.
That.
That's a whole
Well,
different conspiracy.
Yes or no?
Yep. Yes or no?
Yes, it was imploded on purpose.
I know nothing about this, so I'm just gonna say no.
That amazes me, Chris.
I'm going to agree with Chris. No.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
Indubitably.
Chris, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole at some point with you, buddy.
Of course, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Do any of the three of you care to share? Like, it just a
There's
tidbit
video.
of.
There's video, and there's people like engineers that have talked about this is exactly how a building falls when it's done on purpose
Controlled.
in a controlled demolition.
Okay, but why?
Well, you might want to just go ahead and see who's in that building.
Or what was in that building?
Right, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Who, what companies?
Because that
what
building was
agencies.
emptied by the time it went down, right?
No, there were things going on in that building.
Okay.
Did it go
But
down?
people?
Oh, I don't know about how many people, but I'm sure some
Right.
people. Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
it go down on the same morning?
Afternoon.
Yeah, but well, same day.
Same
It was like
day.
Same day.
day.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly that opens up a can of huge worms.
Oh yeah.
If okay.
I would be open to learning more about that because
Oh,
this is
we'll
the first time
we'll
I.
watch some stuff tonight, honey.
Oh boy, that's the first I'm hearing of that. Sorry.
Chris is up.
I am not a real conspiracy guy per se, so I'm going old school.
Mr. Ingledinger.
Mr. Ingle-K.
Ingle-K never finished college.
No, oh gosh, he was a genius. Is a genius, so I
know what
can't.
that is.
That was his choir director, band
That's
director.
false. Computer teacher.
That's a conspiracy theory. He was a
Okay,
computer
Chris.
teacher.
Sure he was.
And tennis coach.
Okay.
Antenna.
So, Chris,
Yours is.
I'm gonna hit JFK. I'm not gonna.
He's
I'm not gonna
nothing,
hit him.
man.
Wow.
At least two people did.
Too late.
There you go.
Oh man.
What's your theory?
Back in the day, I was a huge fan of the Oliver Stone movie. I mean,
yeah.
documentary.
I mean,
It's
done as one, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was high school, but man, did I get into that. And I haven't watched it in a long, long time. And so my opinion is clearly biased by that, based on that movie. But man, is that compelling evidence that I don't see how.
So what's your theory?
Back and to the left, like my theory is there more than one gunman.
More than one. Yeah.
Okay, so not who they were.
No,
Just
because
more
you
than
could go
one.
into the whole like
Oh, yeah.
CIA.
CIA mob, this, that, yeah. But just the fact that I
It
think
wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald acting alone.
so
Right.
that's what you're saying.
That's
was,
what I'm
it was
saying.
more than one
Yeah.
gunman.
yes,
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
say yes.
Yes, there was more than one gunman. That's basically what we're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I don't even know who this woman is anymore.
Well, if Chris says it,
Chris and I are on the same team over here.
Yes.
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 All right, now it's Rachel's turn.
Okay. Bigfoot is real. Oh. No.
Okay. Now I have a clarification.
Yes, good point.
So is Bigfoot a conspiracy theory?
The existence.
And I still like talking about it, but I'm just questioning like
Sure.
The existence of Bigfoot.
Okay.
No.
Point of clarification. Can we go with Sasquatch?
Still no.
Another point of clarification. So is a conspiracy though, does that imply a cover up? That's my question.
No, these are controversial topics.
Okay, that's where-
divisive
that's all.
issues.
That's
things
all
like
I
that.
wanted to know. Thank you.
Yes, Sasquatch is real.
Brian is thinking.
Yeah, I've thought about this so much. I'm so undecided on this one.
That's yes or no. I could have
I
given
know
a percentage.
I know. Yes, I'm gonna say yes.
Have you all not seen Harry and the Hendersons? I mean, it's obviously yes.
Well,
we
that was a
we know the
documentary.
guy who
Rest in
was
peace.
My grandparents
I think everybody from Penn Hills
taught
has some
him
kind of
taught him like
connection to that
voice
guy.
lessons.
Yeah.
I think
Because
yeah.
he was also the predator,
yeah
Yes.
yeah.
which freaked me out. I did not sleep good that
He's
night.
also a butler in Little Orphan Annie. Not true.
I'm gonna say yes with the clarification of like he could exist or it could or they could.
no.
See,
But I said yes. I'm saying yes.
no.
That they exist.
Oh, okay. I said yes.
And I'm saying no.
Okay.
Rachel's arguing no.
I'm saying no also. And since I'm last in the circle, can I bring up a point? So
You were. Oh, you are last in circle. I'm sorry.
that's okay. So I believe that, like, I don't see if Sasquatch existed that I don't think they could hide from us. So if they existed, then there would be an implied conspiracy, according to what, like the definition I was saying before, like there would be a cover up of sorts. But
People go missing every day.
I would still lean toward no, because I just don't think they could really hide.
Now,
Although that being said, Amy is real into like the cryptids, like those creatures of like American.
The Patterson Gimlin video, the classic one where like it's like grainy.
Yeah.
It's been diagnosed by so many different experts, and it would be very, very hard to produce that video. And so that's probably the most compelling evidence scientifically. Now, is that
Do you know when that
proof?
video was taken?
It was like early
60s
to
or-
mid 70s.
I mean, because that's about how good you would get at that time period.
Yeah, it was. I think it was early 70s. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like, yeah.
One of my things would be if Sasquatch or Bigfoot was
Or
real,
Yeti.
wouldn't we have found bones? Or are you saying they
There are
live
people
forever?
there are people that claim to have bones, and there's pretty compelling evidence.
Don't be stepping on one of my conspiracies.
There's
I know that one.
people that have Sasquatch poop. Like there's a whole museum. There's a lot. I mean, and you can call it.
Footprints?
There's a lot.
Hinged foot?
There is a lot of physical evidence, whether you choose to believe that physical evidence or not,
Across many cultures.
across many cultures and across many times.
And what makes it so hard is like the time that we're living in now, because you can fake so many things so well.
It's really hard for us because we can't believe our own eyes right now. Like there's
Yeah.
there's and it's only going to get worse,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
is frightening.
Well, and it's tricky with like Bigfoot videos when you see like the one you mentioned, Brian, that you're like, okay, it's grainy, it's old, kind of looks real, but then you see a video where you're like, okay, bro, no, that's somebody in a suit, and that sort of ruins it for you too, because you're like,
Sure.
oh, okay, that
'Cause
that video
there's-
debunks it, you
Yeah.
know.
For every possible
Conspiracy.
confirming piece of evidence, there's 1,000 that are fakes. But that Patterson Gimlin one, they've done like motion, like there's the way the muscles move. Like there's a lot of compelling
different.
evidence to that one.
There is one we know somebody.
Drew,
Oh, I wasn't gonna mention names because I
could be
didn't.
No,
any
he
Drew.
said true.
I said
Oh.
true. We do know somebody.
Right. All right. That he claims that he saw him, and when he tells the story, like he gets goosebumps when he's like it really happened that he saw him.
And you hear these stories, again, from different countries, different parts of the world, from people that are hunters who are in the woods all of the time, who are not spooked out by things in the woods. And they say they saw
Military people.
things, right, and have nobody benefits by saying, I saw a Bigfoot. Like, you become an idiot. And yet, they'll share their story, and then somebody else is like, oh my gosh, I heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, two things then. If they were out in the woods hunting, why didn't they hunt the Bigfoot? And wouldn't we be riddled with Sasquatch? Like, how do they multiply?
They don't want to be. They don't want to be
They
around
may
us.
be from a different time. They may be from a different dimension. There's a lot of different things. They could
So
be.
many theories.
You just jumped the shark.
Nope, not at
Not
all.
at all. Not at all. I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about abductions, where they find perfectly folded clothing in places that man can't reach when somebody goes missing.
Yeah.
All right, next,
All right, round two.
because we can talk any one of these all night.
I know.
Are we going?
Now's percentages.
Okay.
And I'm torn
man.
between two, but let's keep it easy for the listening audience at
Math
the
is
table at
hard.
home.
All right.
We landed on the moon.
Oh man, you took one of mine.
Let me only change it. We didn't land on the moon.
Okay,
That's
so-
the conspiracy.
That's the conspiracy. Yeah.
we did not.
We never went to the
and
moon.
I will give you 62% we did not land on the moon.
Oh man, that's pretty.
So you're going
62 we did not.
62% we did not land on the moon. Those are
Are you going to give any reasoning, or are you going to let us go and then we talk
No
about it?
percentage, then we discuss at the end.
Got it.
I'm going to go dang it, 62 is a great number.
I know, because I was right in that range.
I
You,
will
it doesn't matter. You can. I mean,
I
I'll
know,
give you
yeah.
61 or 3 for that matter.
I'll go 55% that we did not land on the moon.
I was literally going to say 55. I'll go 58.
I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say. I am gonna go. Oh, wait, I'm gonna do it
The
backwards.
higher the number, the less you believe that we landed on the moon.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
0% chance that we didn't land on the moon.
I'll go 10% that we did not. Therefore, 90 that we did.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm on Team Chris.
Okay.
Shocker. What percentage?
Same. I will say,
I'm shocked at your percentage.
I know. I would say 100% we landed on the moon.
There.
Got it.
So 0.
0% that we did not land on the moon.
Well,
What?
and the one thing-
I confused myself.
I do want to take a little break before we dive into that. Not a break, but comment. Like the only thing that like really brings me comfort is like it doesn't matter. Like in the end, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like we believe in Jesus. Like that's the one truth that I do believe in. And like we always have this joke of like if only this were real, you know, because there's just so many things that happen. I just want to put that out there. Like Jesus is Lord. He saved us, and that's really what matters.
He knows
And-
what's going on.
and he
that's
knows
really
what's
the
going
important
on.
thing.
And there's just a lot of confusing things out there. And the more and more like, you know, evidence and whatnot comes out, it's like you go down these rabbit holes, it gets crazy. So yeah, that's all I'll say.
Do you mean, okay, let me ask you a question.
I like
Do
that,
you
Eric.
mean
Yeah.
the original moon landing or ever?
The original where we're bouncing on the moon and
Yeah, planting the flag.
planting the flag that's blowing in the wind.
One
with no
giant leap for
so-
mankind.
I will keep my my odds there, but I do believe subsequently we have gone.
Manually
other things.
landed.
Yes.
Humans walking.
I
Okay.
do believe that eventually. We did
That
that.
do we even know of?
There's missions that we probably don't. We probably are on the moon right now.
Now we're all presupposing the moon is real.
The moon is hollow. It is definitely hollow. It rings like a bell when you land on it. So
Yeah.
But here's my perspective on that and why I say it happened. Because to say it didn't happen is to believe that all of the people involved,
Yep.
how many?
Yep.
Hundreds,
Yep.
it's a large conspiracy.
Probably thousands.
would go to their grave with this secret and never tell like a deathbed confessional or
Some have told.
to slip up and tell. Like that
some have
all of
told.
these people would agree to this lie.
Fears and
Some have-
crazy.
have you
motivators.
seen-
And
have
I
you-
don't trust people enough to believe that they would keep that secret.
Sure.
Understood.
There's you could you could say that about a lot of conspiracy theories for sure.
You're up, Brian.
Wait,
Chris has something to
I thought we
Oh,
were going
I'm
to
sorry.
talk about this a little bit.
I thought the moon. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
No, but like why? Like because
You went a little Groot there.
because there's a lot of things. Because at the time, like the Cold War was happening,
Right.
and it was like
Yeah.
one
We
thing would be
motivated to
That's what
fly.
I was gonna
to
say.
prove that
Yeah.
like we were more powerful and we had
And
better
Stanley
technology.
Stanley Kubrick was
Yeah,
The reason I'm only at 90%, because I mean, I've believed all my life, and I still believe the science of it. I believe it. I appreciate what you said, Brian. It was like, well, even if they didn't the first time, then, but you know, the
Well-
possibilities there. We got there. The reality of the ability, I guess, not the reality, the ability to get there.
And live stream it.
and live stream it and talk live
yeah.
to
There's
some
a lot
guy
of
on TV.
There's a lot of anomalies
Like,
there.
When
like
we're still using
think about
black
how
and white
like
television.
Think
I will
about
say,
that. My cell phone goes out like when we're in the woods. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not. And then like I don't want to dumb it down that far because there's a lot of tech. But like the other thing to me is like we had our first flight, man in flight, like early 1900s or whatever. Then like 60 some years later, we're on the moon.
Well, that's because we captured Nazis
Wait, hang on.
and-
And then now like we're not able to go back to keep on.
We've
bumping it
lost
back.
the
Like
technology.
we can't go back to the moon right now. Like like it seems to me with like all the technology that we have right now, we should just like be able to just to go to the moon.
Should be a mall on the moon.
Yeah, like it just seems that way. Like we're like how far, but we're almost the same distance from the first flight as we were to the initial like man flight, like just airplane.
30
like,
years
right
before they
Yeah,
went to
yeah.
the moon, they were still flying biplanes.
Yeah,
But in that 30 years, we got to the moon. Okay.
like it's just like it doesn't make sense, and I haven't heard like a rational explanation of it. And I will say this. I'm also not smart enough to understand rocket science.
Right.
But it just
Right.
doesn't make sense to me. And with all the things going on back in the day with like Cold War stuff, I could see like the government trying to
Win the
prove
race,
to another
yeah.
win the
Yeah.
race. Yeah.
And I will say too, if you can look it up on YouTube, the post flight interview where the three Neil Armstrong,
Buzz Aldrin.
Pete Cauldron, Pete
Collins.
Pete Collins, and the other guy.
Buzz Aldrin,
I can't
yeah.
believe Buzz Aldrin. But watch their news conference. Something happened, whether they went to the moon or not. Something happened up there, because they are terrified. They are anxious. It's one of the most awkward news press conferences to watch. It's documented. Watch it on YouTube.
I'll have to look that up.
Something was
And
up.
I could even be like on the other side of that. It'd be like they were so like amazed and taken back by the whole experience, like they didn't know like what. Like I'm just saying, I'm playing the devil's advocate, but like that's why it's hard. But like I still go with my 58%.
Yeah,
Is it my turn?
it is.
COVID originated
Oh, come on.
in a wet market. 0%.
Oh, 0. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking. I'll go.
Don't know why.
No, well,
That
'cause
was foul. That's a foul. That's a flag on me. Flag on me. Go ahead.
Yes.
I will go 20%.
Wait, what's my answer mean?
Lower the number. Did it come from a wet market? 0, or a lab leak? 100.
Oh, 0.
You're saying did it come from a wet market? 0.
Zero chance.
Point zero zero.
Yes.
Point
zero
zero
chance
zero.
it came from
0. But wait,
a naturally
here's-
occurring
here
wet
is-
market.
So
Wait, you have to,
What do you
have
mean
to
a
answer?
wet market?
0.
I don't
Okay.
know
I'm
what that
giving the
means.
zero.
Where,
Oh, sorry,
where
okay.
like in China, they have these markets on the street where they sell like
Raw
eel
meat.
brains.
Oh, like a
and-
farmer's market.
that was
Yeah, but it's
With wet things.
the prevailing accepted.
fish?
Rachel, that was the accepted
monkeys,
prevailing
like,
origin
there's all kinds of stuff.
for years. It was a conspiracy to say it came from the Wuhan coronavirus lab. That was a dangerous conspiracy to believe that. That what Fauci, if you're listening,
I feel like one
others-
of us is going to get a phone call.
and
Yeah.
others.
It's just- I'm
No,
broadcasting,
what they
it's
said
gonna
be
was
me.
I hope it's-
that it leapt from a
Pass
it
bat
to me away.
Pass them to me.
into a
Okay.
human being. That was the prevailing truth that was told. So that's the difference.
Okay, got it.
Now, you're next, Eric. But
Oh, right.
had you asked that differently, it could have gotten spicy, because you could have said the coronavirus was released, was a lab leak from the coronavirus lab.
And then we could say intentional.
Well, that's a leak.
Was it a bioweapon?
Right? Was it a mistake?
Yeah, we
Or
could get
was
it.
it
We
on
could get it. I
purpose?
was trying to keep.
That's when you
I
get
was trying
dicey.
to keep that somewhat.
Spicy.
Yeah,
Spicy.
somewhat. I don't know.
All right, Eric.
Okay. The government
No, man.
controls the weather in some cases.
In some cases,
Could you
Yeah.
rephrase that?
there's a device called HARP that the government uses to control the weather. In some cases,
You could say that. I just mean in like they can manipulate the weather or earthquakes and things like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say 100% yes.
0%.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I love your percentage.
I don't know percentages.
It goes 0 to 100.
What does 0 mean?
the government in no way controls the weather at all.
Or has
Ever.
impacted the weather.
I will say that it does a little bit.
20%.
I will go 15%.
Again, it's sort of an ambiguous point. So, has it happened? Is it in existence? 100%.
Yeah.
100%. There's
Yeah.
documentation. They actually talk about it on websites.
Yeah.
They've passed a law
Well,
in Florida
and in
that
war,
says
like-
they're not allowed to do it.
Yeah. And
Cloud,
in, like
cloud seeding.
yeah. Well, in wars and stuff in history, like if you look at like history, like one thing that they would use is natural weather, like if it was foggy or things like that. So as soon as like somebody could have the ability to control something like that, they're gonna use it. And we're far enough along. And I mean like when like war, I'm talking like 1700, 1600.
We're not far enough. We can't even get back to the moon.
I'm saying. can't get back to the moon.
We're on the moon right now.
Unless those
Letting everybody
astronauts
know.
saw it. Oh, that's a good point.
Can I live in my brain where, to me, that sounds really like evil? So I don't want to acknowledge it because
You can, but are you facing reality? Like, do you care
Right.
about
Or
reality?
Because
is
evil
that your
exists.
high need for security that you don't want to believe that there could be
Oh,
that
here's
out
how
there?
we tie in
There you
emotional
go.
needs.
That's basically all this episode is about. It's a security.
well, because that's really, really bad,
Well, it
right?
could be
Like,
about-
how do
it
you
could be about
manipulate the
belonging.
weather for good? Because
Why
you're
would the
you're
government-
Crops and
saying,
deserts.
Crops,
Yeah.
yeah.
but you're saying it as if it's all being used for bad stuff, like to create an earthquake or create a
don't think it
tsunami or
can.
create whatever, which are all bad things. How could it be used for good?
Well,
increase-
to cool the atmosphere of the Earth. You know, Bill Gates is an ardent believer in making technology and using technology to cool the Earth because of global warming. So if you decide that that's a good thing, then that's the good part of it.
All right.
So he wants to do Snowpiercer. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. He
Oh,
wants to
gosh.
basically,
Ugh.
yeah.
Nope.
It's one of the.
Nope.
I'd never have to see it again.
Nope.
There were articles.
What is it? What?
Nah, it's,
We'll talk about it
Okay.
later.
There were articles today about scientists are coming up with ways to block the Earth from the sun to slow down global warming.
So to your point, they're trying to do that for global warming. That's the benign, good reason.
And last year in Dubai, I believe it was, they
Floods.
had horrific floods, and they said, "Yep, we overseeded the clouds.
Yep.
That one's on us."
Yep.
How
Sorry,
about that?
Yeah.
it's pouring in the desert.
Flash floods.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how that happens. Is downpours in dry places.
Indeed.
I feel like more so than like the moon landing, for example, since we just talked about that, and like your ability, their ability to hide that or get enough people to lie about it or keep it concealed. I feel like something like this that would require some sort of like vast, I don't know, machinery and things that like it feels like you couldn't hide that. At least I can't wrap my brain around like the way that you would hide that, the way that it would not just be obvious.
What's the thing like when we're doing like an escape room and there's something like you're looking for the
A
thing,
red herring?
A red herring, yes. You could have a bunch of people working on a red herring, and yet 10 people over here are working in the studio filming the the moon landing, you know, and they know what's going on. But really, in reality, like people are thinking they're working on this thing, but they're really not.
Right.
I mean, that's
But I mean like visually. Like how do you hide it physically?
You mean like how could you have a plane go in the air and
Yeah, in
distribute
in plain
chemicals
sight.
into clouds that would
Oh,
then-
no. Okay.
There's-
Well,
have you-
that's not the kind of
also
thing I
have-
was
what's your
thinking.
moon landing
Have you
example?
looked at the
'Cause
HARP
you
array
mentioned
in
Wait, do you
Alaska?
even know what that is?
No.
So look up HARP, HAARP.
Okay.
In Alaska.
it's not the.
I'm going to be an AARP
not the
pretty
retired
soon.
program.
It's not the
it's
retired
not.
H, it's the
Program,
real
yeah.
H.
That feels very. If you've ever read the books or watched the movies, very Hunger Games. Because
Well,
President
that's
Snow.
kind of what Snowpiercer
Yeah.
also
Oh,
is.
okay.
Yeah.
Somebody seeds the clouds, the Earth freezes because the scientists were, you know, too proud and overshot everything, so they actually froze the Earth. Somebody makes a train that is just perpetually going around the Earth. And on the train, you have classes. You have the high class in the front, the low class in the back. So there's a lot to that story that kind of, you know, it's very dystopian.
Yeah.
But yes, Hunger Games ish.
Who's next?
Chris needs another conspiracy here.
All right. I had another one, but I forget now. So I'll go with, again, classic. Loch Ness Monster. Conspiracy being it exists, like with an S, exists or / existed.
Specifically Nessie.
Yeah.
Like the dinosaur, looking like a dinosaur head coming out of the water, Nessie.
I mean,
That's like the famous picture or whatever, you know, that I've seen.
no, no, that something large was in Loch Ness, though.
Oh, well,
Something-
that's the same thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
specific to that region, that area.
Yes,
whatever
yes,
else.
yes, specific.
Got it.
And I'm a yes.
Percentage.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Interesting, Chris.
95.
Whoa. This just got spicy.
I don't really know anything
Right.
about it.
Yeah, I don't know a ton, but I will say
Now, this is not Puff the Magic Dragon. Completely
he
different.
lived by the sea.
Also hangs out with Snoop,
And children.
I've heard.
Wait, what? Wait, the question is, does the Loch Ness Monster exist?
Sure.
I will give 20%.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty high for you, dear.
I know.
Because I'm not very well versed in this, 75.
75 that it does exist?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go about 40%.
Oh, really? Only 40?
Yeah, yeah.
Who
It's
you
not-
are anymore.
It's not what I believe in.
And I'm going to go 50-50 because, like,
Nope, you're not allowed to do 50-50. That's
Oh, man.
I'll do. Okay, all right. I'll do
Sudden rule.
51% that it exists because it could. I mean, if it's a big animal that swims around in there, it could be anything. You know,
Right.
whatever. Whether or not
and
it's
the
like
water.
yeah.
I mean, we know nothing about water.
That's what I'm saying. We just
And the Loch Ness is deep.
we
It's very
just
deep.
there was just the I saw the other day
mean,
there's
yes, the Loch
an
Ness.
octopus or a squid that we've never seen on film before. We've never captured it on video, and we just did that
Yeah, but
like the other day
Probably the ocean, right? But
in the ocean.
Lo-
Yeah.
Loch
But I mean,
Ness-
that's my point.
the
Like,
Loch
yeah,
Ness.
What is
It's not
Loch
Ness.
Ness? Is
it's
it?
the Loch?
No, it's the Loch Ness monster because it's the Loch Ness.
Right.
yeah.
So is that a lake or okay?
It's a very deep lake. It's a big lake, but
Is it like a Great Lake? Like
not,
like
not one of the Great Lakes.
Nothing's that
no,
big.
I know it's not okay, but it's not that big.
No.
Okay, got it.
But it is a, and we could look it up how deep, but it's
big
like
lake.
a,
745 feet. deep.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
which
not a
is-
shallow
that's
lake.
deep.
Which
Yeah.
is deep, yeah.
And it's big, it's wide, it's deep, but yeah, my 90 or whatever 95% is like because I feel like people have photographed or videoed something, so therefore there's something, and like people's imaginations or imaginations can expand on that and say, oh man, I think that's like a dinosaur in the water, so you know what I mean, like
right. That got stuck there somehow.
right,
Yeah.
like, but it could still be like just
And
It did-
turtles.
something
It didn't
very,
get
very
destroyed by
big.
It didn't get
there could
destroyed
be-
by a meteor.
There could be caves underneath of it that it's going in and out of into the earth. I mean, there
Yeah.
could be under.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
didn't
The
think about
deepest
that.
part of Lake Erie is 210 feet.
yeah. So
wow.
the
That is deep.
Loch
Which
Ness
is the
very
shallowest
deep.
of the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
But still,
Deep.
Deep.
In comparison, yeah, that's deep.
But to the other
Lake
end,
Superior is 1,300 feet.
talking about all the technology and all the advancements we have, are you telling me in 2025 you can't dredge that body of water to find?
No.
They can find the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean, but you can't
Can't go down.
find that in a lake.
Oh, funny you should say Titanic.
But do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess,
Yes.
Brian, what you're saying is if it had caves or hidey holes or something, but like, wouldn't they at least research that and see that? Like, it feels like this is just a
red herring.
like a wives' tale or something, because I feel like if
Right.
it was an actual important thing,
There'd
they
be
would have
some
put,
investigation.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
that's fair.
All right. So what's your last conspiracy?
Last one.
Okay, this is going to be controversial.
We could go for a long time.
We could go for so long, dude.
I got
See,
a lot.
mine are very simple. Your house can't be haunted by a friendly ghost.
Oh, that's an important qualifier you put in there.
Your
By a
house can't
friendly
be
ghost.
haunted by a friendly ghost.
Correct.
Okay.
Like, go ahead.
What's the conspiracy?
Because people say, "Oh, my house is haunted," or "I saw
Well-
a ghost." No, you didn't.
Not necessarily a conspiracy. Just
Like
Is
a
it controversial?
controversial topic.
Okay, I'm just trying to.
is that something that happens?
answer it?
I say 0% that it happens. It's go ahead.
I have to give a qualifier. I'll
Yeah.
give you 0% because you said friendly.
Right. Like, I don't want to like be specific, but it's not like grandma is
Right.
hovering in the upstairs bedroom because that's where she died or something. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I'm saying that. Like,
Or flickering a light on and off.
right.
100%. 100%.
The friendly ghosts.
Because he stares you down.
Any
I know
ghosts.
that was intense. He gave
Any
me
ghosts.
eye contact.
Any spirits.
Yeah, see, that
Good or bad, whatever.
I feel like
No.
spirit is
No.
different than ghost.
No. Answer my question.
100%.
Did a friendly ghost?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he did you answer?
Yeah, I said zero.
Zero.
On friendly.
Yeah. Yeah, I say 0. I definitely believe that there are different dimensions and there's spirits that can come in and out.
Sure.
Wait,
you
Chris
know,
has to give his percentage.
but not like dead grandma, like visiting and saying, "Hi, how you doing?" Or,
Hi, how you doing?
Your grandma sounds fun.
Death will do a lot to a person.
Gosh, I do not know what percentage to give this because I have a story that goes with it afterwards, but it's not
A ghost
about a
story?
friendly thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go, I don't know, 20%.
okay.
He had a conversation with Joe Bell, the ghost of Joe Bell.
Oh, Joe Bell the cat.
Too
Oh,
soon.
no.
I actually hung out with Joe Bell, the human, today, oddly enough.
That's nice.
I know a guy named Joe Bell.
This was, speaking of a spiritual encounter, I guess, or something. It was scary. One time in college, Amy was. What's wrong?
Rachel's laughing uncontrollably for some reason.
This one time at band camp.
Yeah. No, we have been at band camp too, but this was not then. Amy was house sitting for one of our music professors who was a single woman who owned a lot of cats. Okay.
What?
Anyway, and it was over the summer. So she was like on vacation or whatever. Amy was working at the school and she also was house sitting. And I happened to then be visiting Amy while she was house sitting, right? So we're both at this house, this professor's house.
With the cats.
With the cats. Although the cats actually are not part of the story, but were a lot of cats, so I'm just setting the scene. But so I was sleeping over.
Oh, boy.
No judgment.
Here we go.
And we were woken up. It was the scariest moment of my life. We were woken up by what we can only describe as like pipes in the basement or something in the walls, like clanging loud. I'm not saying like, oh, there was a little noise in the pipes, ping, ping, ping. No, I'm talking sitting bolt upright in bed, like loud as can be, like scary, scary, scary. What is happening? And we just like left, like we got out in the middle of the night and like
really?
did not go. She went back like late, like to finish her stay there. But actually, I'm not sure if she ever spent another night. She might have just gone back during the day to check on the cats. But it was the most real, like
Something
bizarre
else is
something.
here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would add to a lot of this, you can also find out a lot about somebody in their need for belonging and acceptance in this game, because the person that doesn't want to be the contrarian and they want to go along with what most people say, and are they independent and everything else.
I would like to add to that because I have a high need of acceptance
Yep.
and a high need of belonging. And the only reason why I'm comfortable doing this is because of you guys.
No.
Because like I wouldn't do this on my own.
What would you do if you're like in a group of strangers and this game breaks out like it does?
I would feel out the room first.
Yeah.
I'd be like, where are we?
Right, you'd see what the answers were, and you'd chameleon yourself in.
I remember we were here. I think it was a fantasy football draft, and Jordan, my neighbor, was here, and
Yeah.
we were joking about COVID, and he was like, "Wait a minute, which side are you guys on?" And he started laughing, and I was like, "That's exactly where we need to be right now, because we don't need to be talking bad or good about anything, because it's fantasy football." But like, right, so I would feel out the room.
But wait, I want to go back to the ghosts.
Unlike
boy.
Brian, that Brian would be like, "Let's go."
Brian,
Yeah.
Yeah.
explain yourself.
Why I believe that
Friendly
there are
ghosts.
friendly ghosts.
Yeah.
I believe that consciousness is eternal, and regardless of what our bodies, whatever these vessels are, I believe that the afterlife is a lot more complicated than we've come to accept as a society. And so I just have a lot of questions about it. And I've seen enough of my own in my own life to definitely believe that there's a lot of layers to the spiritual.
But that's not your point. Because I'm hung up on the friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there's layers to the spiritual realm and to the supernatural realm.
So like everybody that dies that accepts Jesus goes to heaven, and so there can't be friendly ghosts because everybody who's accepted Jesus is in heaven with Jesus.
Yes.
Well, first of all, you have a mocking tone in your voice.
Well, and I'm just stating
I would
the
argue
fact,
more
like-
theologically from the theological argument of A, they're sleeping and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
B, there's scriptural evidence when, I forget, Lazarus, but not that Lazarus, I believe it was the rich Lazarus, says, let me go back and tell my children because he's in hell. And he's like, I want to go back and tell them. And they said, no, they don't believe the prophets. They're not going to believe you.
Mm-hmm.
So God's not in the business of having his people go back and forth and communicate. So therefore, I don't know what they would be doing, would be my counter to that
What
argument.
what if there's an energy? What if there is energy that's remained? There's accounts of, soldiers being seen on the battlefield, and they're not bad, they're not good, they're just repeating some kind of a loop. There's accounts of Lincoln in the Lincoln bedroom in the White House, and like very legitimate, encounters and by legitimate people recounting these things. So there's the reason I say that is because there are a lot of stories that describe regular people kind of doing things on a loop, kind of stuck in time.
So that I would put into a different category.
It's a ghost that's okay. It's maybe not friendly, but it's not malevolent either. It's just there's some kind of an energy imprint is I guess where I stand on this. There's some kind of a
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
it's almost like an artifact of a human. That I mean, you can look up a lot of these stories. There's a
So
lot.
no,
of,
here I'll give you this. So we are obviously complex creations, and when we die, our soul goes to wherever it's going to go. But perhaps we're not just flesh, blood, bone, and soul, but also energy.
We're
Right.
definitely energy.
That's
so
where my
what
head
I'm
was
saying
going.
is, so
Yeah.
while it's not a soul,
Right. It's
spirit,
not a
There is
ghost.
an energy
Right.
that is left behind. I will certainly allow for
So-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
So
guess
it's not a
that's,
ghost.
That's what I'm saying is
It's the energy from that thing.
I would
happening
call
over
I
and
would
over
call it
again.
an artifact. I guess is the best
Nah,
the best way to
I'd
put
be
that.
much more
Yes.
on board with that.
Yeah.
Well, then should you still get it out of your house?
I don't know if you can.
I don't know what you do
Got
about it.
Dyson.
Pray.
I know, like I definitely there's definitely bad things, but as to your point about friendly, if we're gonna keep those constraints,
Casper.
Did you say get a Dyson?
If you
I
like,
just got
like
I don't know.
if you came across one, who would you call?
Ghostbusters, baby.
I'd call in the name of Jesus real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have conversations with Jesus, and
Well-
I would just kind of let it go and see what happens.
I've had
Like,
those moments where like I wake up terrified and I can't move, and then I call on Jesus.
I think it's something
you
else,
know?
though. That's
that's a whole nother thing.
That's
But
the
the-
spiritual.
but it is something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and if-
Demonic.
right? Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like even to your point, even if I acquiesce and say somebody's stuck in a loop or whatever, that's still not supposed to be happening. So you would still
why isn't
pray.
it supposed to be happening though?
Because if it's
Then
not
why
their soul,
doesn't
who are
happen
you gonna
to
say that it's supposed to
everybody?
be?
if it's not
happening?
their soul, it's not a spiritual thing. It's an energy thing, is what he's contending.
So
So
then
it's-
why is it not everybody who's ever existed energy weighing on us 100% of the time? Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Maybe there is, and there's just times where we perceive it differently, and certain people perceive it differently.
Or it gave off a different energy when they died.
Because energy goes,
so-
energy it can't be destroyed. It goes somewhere.
Okay, Newton.
sure, I agree with you. But I guess more to my point is I'm saying like,
Grandma didn't visit you.
right. Or if there is something in your house, you need to pray to get it out because it's not supposed to be there.
Man, we didn't even talk about Nephilim. We didn't talk about
Oh, wait.
aliens.
No,
we
but
didn't
see-
talk about.
RFK Senior, was he killed by one person, or was that a setup?
There's so many things we didn't talk
We'll
about.
have to have another one like
We'll have to
3
have
months
another
from
one.
now or
But
something,
wait,
quarterly.
I want to give one. Not even. I'm just going to give a category that I think these two are both going to go. What?
Okay. And then that's it. And then Chris closes the show. Yeah.
The Smithsonian.
Yep. Total cover up. Hit the bones.
Look at him.
I have no. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to say real.
Oh, is it wrong for me to bring up because now you're just chomping at the bit?
That
No,
one's
we
like
need to end this.
different kind of evil.
Real quick, as we wrap this up, I wanted to take it back to what Eric was saying though about like it being easier to say like to have this discussion
Wait, I do-
amongst people he knows.
Yes, but I want to say something else at the end.
Okay. And I wanted to say, I sort of, as often happens, I'm on the fence about certain things, but like, it is both easier for me and harder for me, I think, with close friends to do that. Like, there's a part of me that's like, oh, it'd be easier in a group of strangers.
See, I would say that would go to your high need of respect, but also acceptance. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be okay with
Right.
them not agreeing with me.
Well, and so I am often, when it's the four of us, I am often that person on the opposite side of conspiracy theories or different conversations we have. So, but I only say that tonight to say I was really happy Rachel was here because it gave me a little
felt
somebody
like you
on my
belonged.
side of the
sense of
table.
belonging and
Yes,
acceptance.
yes, a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
easier
Because you love
yeah.
her and enjoy her company.
Exactly.
I love how you made that about emotional needs to bring it
It was.
to the show
And
again.
thank you. And I hope we never do make you feel disrespected in your
Outcast, othered.
disbeliefs.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Which version did we like better? Yes or no, or percentage?
Yes or no?
I kinda-
Percentages are dumb.
I kind of like the percentages because it kind of forces you to. I guess both kind of force you to talk about why. So I don't know. I just like having the conversation.
I like the conversation.
Well, we have conversation at the end either way.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't really. But I kind of like the percentage because I'm like, it could be, but it might not be.
Exactly.
Hey, and that's how we're going to wrap up. And definitely it is the end of episode 282. Join us next week live on Wednesday evening for episode 283. Between now and then, give us a like or follow on social media and visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. While there, take our relational needs questionnaire. Thanks, as always, for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome.
See you next week.
Hasta luego.
Bye.
Bye.